Alrighty. Hello guys. My name is Quoc, and I'm actually also taking the MAS 3370 classes, and I'm taking 910. So, here's a disclaimer. I'm just actually a normal student, and I also have zero coding experience before studying this class. So I have done like for 6 or 7 quizzes, and believe me that those first ones are really confusing and struggling. But after like the third one or the fourth one, you guys will like visualize how all of it's really come together and making some common sense. So here's some tips. And Once again, I just want to say that I just want to like um, illustrate that how do I understand this, just like illustrate my process, and just to share some of my tips for those one that need it. And I don't want to brag or to show off or something. Okay, I just want to help. So uh, without any further, let's get into this one. Okay, so I'm going to solving the quiz 1 spring 2019. This one I just took at the afternoon, at today afternoon. So there's some basic things that you guys need to remember when you guys are going to do this quiz 1. First, just simple, is static versus non-static attributes. So many people misunderstand these two terms, and for just for easy understanding from my perspective, static is for the class attributes, which will be applied for the whole class, which equally means that it applies for all objective and it will be the same for all objective. So normally when you use static, it's when you encounter with attribute that basically calculate the total amount, the total of something, the total of the variable of the whole class, sort of like total amount or something, or a budget, or count. Okay, this one we have seen many times. Okay, so that's static. And non-static is just instant attribute, which means that this non-static attribute will be different between each of the objectives. Uh, let's say you guys make another objective from this class, then this non-static attribute will be unique for each objective. That's non-static means. Okay, so another things that you guys need to remember is how to pass, how to call a method, how to pass parameters. Yeah, and one thing I find is the hardest things for this quiz is when you guys hardest thing after I figure it out is when you guys calling a method, and then you gonna pass into its parameters an objective. Okay, so when doing this quiz I will tell more about it, but basically when you have to pass an objective into a method parameters, you have to call the class of the objective first. So here I have the hardware store is my class, and I just say that here's my objective. Yeah, so and that's it. It will make sense when we get down to this quiz. So let's get going. So another tips is you guys have to be calm and chill. You guys just need to literally read the instructions and do exactly what it says. Okay? Try to understand, but not foreseeing it, if that makes sense. I don't know. Just take it step by step, okay? And you guys should be fine. I guarantee you. Because, well, I struggle a lot, and then after like the first quizzes, everything makes sense. So there will be some other key terms that would be familiar, that would be the same for any quiz, and I will tell you guys down the line. So first thing first, we're gonna create a class called HardwareStore. Okay, public class HardwareStore. All right. So this class has 6 attributes. Okay, so the attribute you guys can declare it as public, but conventionally it should be private. So if you can put it as public, I don't suggest it, but you guys should put it as private. Yeah, that's what I suggest. So here, the first one is the item purchase. So usually this one would be name. Again, another tips for you guys. If anything seems too confusing, or you guys need more information about it regarding, like, for this example, you guys don't know really what item purchase was the instructor really mean. You guys just need to scroll down, see here, not the answer, see, check the message dialog, the black box or something, kinda, and here the item purchase would be the name of the item. Yeah, so I actually applies this method a lot, and it works pretty well. So here the item purchase would be simply a name, so I would put string item purchase. All right, the price. So when you're thinking about the price, it should be double because it may have decimal values. That's it. The tax. So there's two things. There are two tax variable in this quiz. The first one is tax, and another one is tax rate. So if you guys knows that is the tax rate, then this one must be the tax amount. Okay, so it's kind of different. So here the tax rate, it says that this amount will remain fixed for all purchase. It should be initialized to 8.5%. So this will be remain fixed. It equally means that this is a constant. So how to declare a constant? You guys put a final before the variable. Okay, and okay, I declare a tax rate, and they tell me to initialize to 8.5%. The term initialize equally mean is assign the value, declare a value, declare an attribute, and assign a value to it. Okay, 0.8. Okay, so here the 5 and the 6 attribute would be the total amount, so which is exactly what I just been telling you guys about static attribute. So this one will calculate the whole amount has been sold during the process. So that would be static. Okay. And usually the static variables, you guys will want to assign it to 0 first. I get this from my experience after doing the quizzes. Like some of the time, if you guys do not assign to 0, it will have logic errors and your calculation would have some mistakes. So if you guys don't want to assign a 0 every single time, you guys just walk through your code, and if your calculation is wrong, this may be the error, okay? But I suggest that you guys should always assign static variable, especially for the total ones, with the 0 value, okay? So the total items sold is actually the number of items sold. So it's actually a count, if you can remember. So it would also be the static variable too. And this one, I just call it an int total items equals 0 2. Okay, so when you guys working with the quizzes, here's another tip. You guys gonna need to highlight everything that you guys have already worked through, and if there is something confusing and you guys need to go over it once again, you guys gotta highlight it differently, okay, to recheck it if you guys need it. Alright, so next, this class had two constructor methods. So for constructor methods, it will have the same name at the class name, okay? The constructor method will always has the same name as the class. So here is my constructor method, yada yada yada. Okay, I have two constructor method. Usually, when you have two constructor method, it means that you have overloaded method. So what is overloaded? If you guys do not remember, try to read the slide again for the chapter 4. I remember, yeah. And overload is some kind of the same method but different parameters. So let's say I have this one with no parameters. All right. So this one will be applied for the objects that has no parameters passed onto it. And for example, I have two values on these parameters. This will be applied for the objects that is passed with two variable into these parameters. Okay. Variable. Yeah, kind of. All right. So, and a 5 additional method. Okay. 5 additional method. Alrighty. Alright, the first constructor will not receive any parameters, so you don't have to fill in any parameters in here. But instead, it will need to do the following. Set the attribute as follow. Item purchase will be fan lamp fixture. So you're basically setting default value for this attribute. Okay, so item purchase equal to fan lamp fixture. Alright, price will be $85.69. Calculate the tax and save the result in the tax attribute. Okay, now we need to calculate the tax. So how to calculate the tax? You just simply take the price, multiply it for the tax rate. And this right here, they tell you to save the result in the tax attribute. Just simply assign this calculation into the tax attribute. Alright, calculate the total amount sold and increment the total items sold. You need to save this value in the appropriate attribute. Alright, So the total amount sold, here is how you guys do it. You guys will say, you guys will has this calculation, total amount equal total amount plus the price and the tax. Why plus the price and the tax? Because when you okay, I forgot to tell you guys another tips that always read the problem statement and visualize how your program is gonna work. Okay, so here it's track purchases at a hardware store, calculating the tax and the number of the item purchased. So basically, you guys are building a tracking system. So when you guys calculating the total amount, it must include the price and also the tax, because this is the total purchase price. All right. Okay. So you guys can do it like this way. This is the conventional way, but I prefer this way, and I learned it from Dionisio and Hayden. So this one basically it had the same function as the previous one. Okay, and I prefer this one because it's more convenient. That's all. Okay, and for the word increment, the total items, so it's just basically you guys gonna count the total items and gonna put another objective in the count, like from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, if that makes sense. I really don't know how to really explain it. Sorry. Alright, total items equal total items plus 1. So basically you can do this, but another one I learned from Dionisio, this one has the same function. So I use this one because it's more convenient. That's all. So for the second constructor, so we already finished the first constructor. The second constructor will receive parameters for purchase item and the price the item sold for. So now we have to pass parameters. Okay. So we're gonna pass the item purchase, string item purchase, and the price. It asks us to move the parameter value to the appropriate attribute listed above. This is when you guys use the this terms. Okay. Why do you guys need to use the this term? Because this value has the same name as this value, as this attribute. Okay. So basically, you guys gonna say that, okay, this item purchase right here, this item purchase will be the attribute, because when you guys declare this attribute, it applies for the whole class. So it's not actually applied. It can be used for the whole class. Everywhere in this scope, from here to here, you can call this variable, this attribute, and use it. Okay, so this item purchase is referred to this attribute. Okay, equal to item purchase. So this is the item purchase. This is the value passed onto the parameters. Okay, so don't stress out with this. Just remember, every single time they say move the parameter value to the appropriate attribute, set the attribute to the appropriate attribute or something, is when you use this item purchase things. Okay, this yeah. So we do the same thing with the price. All right. and then we calculate the tax again. We calculate the total amount again. So basically, we're doing the same thing right here. So I'm gonna just copy it. Alrighty. Excuse me for my not good language, because I'm actually an international transfer and I still get used to things. So hope you guys will excuse me. Create. So for the third method, we're gonna create a method to update the price. So I'm gonna call it update price. Alright. It will receive as a parameter the price to update. Okay. So right here, it's gonna receive a parameter the price to update. So we've been using the price attribute as double. So for this one, we also call it as a double. But you guys should okay, let's just say some random variable x, and I will explain it later. Back out the original purchase from the total purchase amount, include both price and tax. Okay, so this right here, it simply means that you guys gonna deduct the previous amount that you guys has put into this total amount attribute. So right here, this is how you do it. This is how you guys do it, but I'm gonna do it a more convenient way right here. Alright, update the price in the object with the new price. So you guys gonna update this price equal to X. So a common mistake that people may make right here, I also make this mistake, that I call these parameters at price, and when I assign this to the price, I will use these parameters for this calculation, which is not right. Why? Because this one is actually using this attribute, not these parameters. Okay? So you guys should put something different to the price. Okay? So I'm gonna call it as revised price or something. You guys can also call it X. it's basically the same thing. Yeah. So this price is refer to this price attribute will equal to revised price, which is the price that passed onto the parameters. Now you guys gonna recalculate the tax, so it's basically the same thing. I'm just gonna copy it and recalculate the total purchase amount, and you guys don't need to do this. Okay, so we finished our third method. So moving to the fourth method, there will be 3 additional methods. One to return the item purchased. So right here, when you guys using void, it means that you guys returning no value. So if you guys need to return a string, you guys gonna put a string here, calling the method as return item purchase. Okay, just simply return the attribute. Some of you guys may ask, why do we need to do this? So right now, I want you guys to remember the tips that I have told you guys about. Just basically and literally follow the instruction, okay? And later in the program, everything will make sense. We're creating this program to returning a value to another class, calling it, okay? So everything will make sense down the line. This one will be return the price. So we're gonna return price. Oh, my bad. it's gonna be a double. If you can return a double, this one will return the tax amount. So basically the same thing. Yada yada yada. Return tax. Alright. Finish the for method. Oh my god, why are you doing this to me? The final method in this class will display the output as shown below, with the total amount purchased and the count of the item purchased. Okay, so this fifth method is the last two lines right here. So it's asked you to display the total amount purchased and the number of items purchased like this. So basically, you guys need to have J option pane. So you guys need to import it. Every single time they're using the word shown below or prompt, mostly you guys gonna use the Java swing dot. Okay, my bad. When they say that prompt, okay, when they're using the word prompt, 100% you guys gonna need to import the Java dot swing dot this, and when they say that shown below, if here you guys say message dialog or input dialog, you guys gonna also need to import the Java swing dot this. But if the shown below is just a black box that's similar to the system.out.println, you guys don't have to. Okay. Alright, so this one I'm gonna call it is that display. Simple. Okay, I'm gonna do the J option pane dot so message dialog no total amount which is cool. So this right here, this number is a total amount attribute. Okay, we're gonna put this number of items purchased in the new line. So we're gonna use this /n to enter the next line. Number of items purchased. So this one is our total items. So that's it. This is for this class. So every single time you guys finish one class, you guys should try to compile it and see whether any mistake you guys have done. If there's no mistake when you guys compile it, it should be good. So we're moving to the next class. So this one we will have two methods and no attribute, and here is the class name. So we have two methods, and the first one would be the main method and the other. Okay, now just simply oh no, we can do that. Alright, public static void mean string x. Alright. So right here, for the number 6, we will instantiate a new object of the class HardwareStore. This basically you can create a new object. Okay, instantiate is create a new object with no argument being passed to the constructor. So here is how you guys gonna create an object. You guys gonna call the class first, HardwareStore. You guys gonna name it. I'm gonna name this as since this only had two methods, usually I would call it at first for convenient. Nothing. You guys can literally name it as anything as you guys want, but it should be first and something like first objective, first hardware, yada yada yada. It's based on you guys' decision. It's based on yours decision. Alright, so new HardwareStore, open and close parentheses. So this is how you guys gonna create an object, and this is in this one you guys don't have to pass any argument into the parameters. So this is all you have to do for this. You guys gonna instantiate another one. So just copy it here, second, and this one you're gonna passing an argument with the true and the 75.25. So the true is a string. So remember, when you guys put a string into the parameters, you guys must have the double quotes, okay? And the 75.25 value. Okay. For the second object created, call the method to update the price. Enter the new price will be $2.75. Okay, so this right here, it's gonna be a little confusing for the new starters. Simply read every word and try to follow exact instruction right here. Call the method for the second object created, which is second. We're gonna call the method to update the price. Enter. So we're gonna go back to this and we're gonna watch which method do we update our price. This one, right? And we see that this one we have one argument passed into our parameters, which is a price. Okay, so now when you want to call this method into this class, but this method is a non-static method. Remember that this method is a non-static method, which means it is an instant method. So you guys gonna call the object and call the method name. That's all. That's all you need to call the method. Okay, and remember to open and close parentheses. But with this one, it will need to have a value of a double. Okay, it will need to have a value of a double, and it must be some kind of price or something right here to work. Okay, so if you guys passing no arguments right here, this one is not gonna work and you guys will have compile errors. Okay, so right here it says call the method to update the price. Enter, and the new price will be $2.75. Okay, so simply you can just put 275 into here. Okay, right, call the method described below. Okay, another tip I got from Dionisio and Hayden. Every single time the quiz tell you to call something below, just simply name it as method below. Okay, and see what they say. Call the method below, passing as its argument the first object created in the section above. Okay, so this one will also be confusing for new starters because you guys haven't been familiar with the method, the calling method that has object passed into its parameter, which I have already mentioned first at first. So basically it says that we're gonna call the method described below. Here is how we're gonna call the method below. And we're gonna pass its argument the first object. So it requires us to pass this object into this method. Okay, that is what it means. Okay, simply as that. This one tells us to do the same thing for the second object. Okay, for the 11, call the method in the hardware store to display the total as described. Okay, so right here, when I read this, I realize that I'm having an error. Why? Because this display right here, I display both static attribute is total amount and total items. So this one right here, I will need to have the static term. Why? Because every single time I want this method to run, I want it to run for the whole class, not for every objective. So I need to put the static right here for this method to apply for the whole class. Okay? And when a method is a static method, is a class method, you guys gonna need to call the class name and that method to work. Okay? So this one is actually familiar with you guys. If you guys using system.out.println, system right here is a class. Okay? Out right here, I remember is a method or something. Yeah. Okay. I don't really remember this out thing. This chase option pane is also some kind of class, if I'm not mistaken. And show input dialog is the method. So this is basically the same thing. Okay, calling a method from a class, and this method is a static method, is a class method. So you guys gonna need to call the class name first, then dot that method, close and open and close parentheses, and that's it. All right, so we're gonna do the second method right now. We have already done this. So the second method, public static void, it will tell you guys to display the detail right here, these two boxes. Okay, you guys will need to have to display these two boxes. So the method below right here, we're gonna display these two boxes. So this one is for the first objective and this one is for the second objective. But right here, we have calling this method twice, which means we only need to display this right here one time. Why? Because you guys calling it like say two times. So this one will display this and this one will display this. You guys don't need to like put display this one and display this one right below here. Okay, I'm being kind of confusing right here, but I'm gonna write the code and you guys will understand it. I will call this one display details. Alright, so this one right here is another message dialog, and I haven't import the Java, the J option pane, so I'm gonna do it. Okay, so right here we will have the item purchase, yada yada yada. So first thing, J option pane dot so message dialog no item purchase. So this right here, you guys, okay, I forgot to do one thing. That's the fact that I need to pass this objective into this method, into these parameters. So what do? Every single time I need to pass an object into a parameter of a method, I will first declare it first. Okay, and how to declare an object in parameters, you guys gonna call the name of the class that has that method, that has that objective first. Then you guys gonna have a random name for this one. Okay, it could be anything that you guys want. I'll put here as object. Alright, so this fan and lamp fixtures right here, does it sound familiar for you guys? Okay, this is this one. This is the name of the item purchase within the constructor method that has no argument passed onto it. Okay, So how do you guys gonna display this attribute right here? Right here. This is why we do this. Right here, we're gonna return the name of the item purchased. Okay, so this is exactly why we do it. Alright, and this is a non-static method. So how do you guys gonna call it? By simply calling the object right here. The first and second is symbolized, the object symbolized for the first and second object right here, and just simply calling that method to return the value. Return item purchase. Alright, and remember, we're still calling a method, so you guys must not forget open and close parentheses. So we finished the first line. Next line. Okay, so we're gonna put it into the new line. So we're gonna /in purchase price. I will do the same thing with this right here. Return price. Object return price. Another one. /in tax amount. Alright, I will also have another method to return the tax, so I'm gonna do the same thing. Return tax. Okay, so right here I will have the item total price. So what is the item total price? It's just basically the addition of the purchase price and the tax amount. You guys can confirm it by doing the math right here. 85.69 plus 7.28 will equal this value right here. So basically, you guys just need to add them together. This one, oh, my bad. This one and this one. And since it is a calculation in concatenation or something, concation. I don't remember that word, but simply every time you guys put a calculation in the string, you guys must put it in a parenthesis. Okay, so we're gonna have another parenthesis to finalize our method in semicolon, and that's it. Alright, I finished this too. And remember to replace this with this. Okay, so this is the magical moment, whether it works or not. Alright, it works. Okay, so now we're gonna run it. Right here. Same value. Same value. Okay, I got it right. And that's it. So thank you guys for watching. I'm just trying to help, nothing else. I don't want reputation or something. I don't want to brag or something. So please don't misunderstand me. Okay, I don't want you guys to do that. I just want to help. And good luck you guys on tomorrow quiz. Goodbye.